Hey guys, welcome in for a premiere episode of State of the Realm podcast, episode 6 at Collector Arthouse, the most lit and well lit YouTube channel on YouTube. So, this has been a long time coming, literally years in the making. This is going to be a reveal event. I have several things to show you guys. Very exciting. One of the most celebrated and exciting artists from Alpha in Sorcery Contested Realm. In fact, Alpha and Arthurian Legends, and hopefully Gothic to come. But what we're going to talk about tonight is the work of the great Vasiliy Ermolaev. Vasily is a Russian artist. He has a very low profile, in fact, on the social medias. He's really not very active on Instagram or Facebook, although he is on those platforms. I communicate with him largely direct through text messaging and have helped him over the course of the last few years, really, selling some of his artist prints. And what you're going to see tonight is a first reveal of his artist proofs. So it's been a long journey. I say years in the making. And I'm super proud to add Vasily to the Collector Arthouse family of artists that I've had the great honor to work with over these last few years since Sorcery debuted. So Vasily, being in Russia, as you can imagine, it's been very difficult for him to offer his artwork to the public. He hasn't really offered any of his paintings. From what I understand, Eric has almost all of his Alpha and Arthurian Legends paintings. There were a few that snuck through in the collector tier of the Kickstarter campaign. His artist proofs also were years in the making. It took him quite a while to get his Alpha and recently Arthurian Legends artist proofs. I believe there was some kind of issue in shipping. I don't know if he, for whatever reason, I think it was lost kind of in shipping or just kind of got delayed and returned to sender, Eric's Curiosa. But ultimately, finally, back in, believe around November timeframe, Vasily finally received, in fact, might have been December. So just like a few months prior to this recording, he received both his Alpha and Arthurian Legends artist proofs. And I was one of the top four backers. If you guys are new to the channel, I was one of the top four supporters of the Kickstarter for Sorcery Contested Realm. And as part of that Kickstarter pledge, the four top backers received an entire set of artist proofs. So 399 artist proofs. The four elemental avatars were not made into artist proofs, sadly. So Severin Pinot did not receive the four elemental avatars. That's why there are 403 cards in the alpha set, but only 399 artist proofs or cards that were printed as artist proofs. So the top four backers received an entire set, one copy of every alpha artist proof, and then the artists received 25 copies of each of their artworks that were in alpha, with the exception of the elemental avatars and promo cards and box toppers, I believe, were not printed as artist proofs. So these things are exceptionally rare. And this is the first time that Vasily has been able to offer those proofs. What happened is one of the other top four backers I've been working with to offer complete sets of his alpha artist proofs, and I've been selling those as complete sets by artists. So the person, I think it was one of my Collector Arthouse patrons. Yes, in fact, it was one of my Patreons. If you want to join Collector Arthouse Patreon, you have opportunities for exclusive access to limited series collaborations with artists on special products. Sometimes first access to things like this, special offerings of complete sets of artist proofs by artist. So one of my Patreon supporters purchased the entire set of the Vasily artist proofs. I think there were 14 artworks in alpha that Vasily received artist proofs for. And I worked with him to get in touch with Vasily, and we commissioned Vasily for painted proofs of all 14. So this is going to be the first ever revealed and seen Sorcery Alpha artist proofs from Vasiliy Ermolaev out of Russia. I'm going to send this off to the patron. It is now paid in full. And without further ado, let's go to the overhead cam. All right. So I have here one of the playmats I collaborated with Severin Pinot for the Philosopher's Stone playmat. This is one variant with the Collector Arthouse logo. And of course, we have the beautiful Queen Guinevere in the background here, up for auction this week at the Sorcery Community Facebook group and Collector Arthouse Discord. So the first thing I want to show you guys before we go to the proofs is we have a few more of Vasily's prints. So Vasily printed these in Russia. He sent these to me. They were offered for first access offer to Collector Arthouse patrons, and then I opened it up to the public. And several of them sold right away. I believe the price was $185 inclusive of shipping in the United States, and then international. Happy to ship internationally, but it'll be priced separately for buyers international. If you guys want to purchase one of these, I'll do a special offer for Collector Art House Patreon members for $150. If you are not in the paid tier of the Patreon, it'll be $185. That includes shipping. So the first is the White Heart. This is from Arthurian Legends. An amazing artwork. One thing I wanted to say is, so Vasily has this very unique, almost whimsical kind of style. Really different. You know, you see it in Alpha and Arthurian Legends. You know exactly this is Vasily, right? It just stands out. It just always looks striking. So much detail and just brilliant creativity. One thing that Vasily also does, he appeared on my channel for the beta break. As soon as beta released, just like Alpha. When Alpha released, we did a box break. We had 14 sorcery artists join the channel live cameos. It was unannounced. It was just incredible. One after the next, they were coming on the channel, and 14 artists. And then we also had Simon Swan, one of the first employees of Eric's Curiosa, and Eric himself joined the stream at the end of that live event. And then for beta, we did it again. We had many of the same artists, Alpha artists, and additional artists that we couldn't get in Alpha. And in that beta showcase, let's say, it was a live event, a lot of artists doing cameos. I think we had Melissa Benson for the first time, I believe, couldn't do it for Alpha, Liz Danforth, several others, and we had Vasily on for the first time, the first ever appearance, the first only ever appearance he's made on YouTube for Sorcery or at all, as far as I know. I've never seen him, like I say, very small footprint on social media. And he came on with Elvira Shakarova, and because Vasily really doesn't speak much English, or maybe he's not comfortable doing so, I'm not sure. But Elvira came on and she translated for him, and there was a very special moment. I'm going to include the beta link in the show notes here. Please go check it out and like and subscribe to the channel. But check out that live stream, and that moment with Elvira is very special. They found out that they actually went to art school, the same art school in Russia at the same time. They didn't realize that until they were united, actually on my channel through Sorcery. And I think Elvira really admires his work and vice versa. And it's just a very special, touching moment when they, were translating live for each other and realized that they had gone to school together. Very small world. So the first is the White Heart. The other thing I want to mention there is Vasily also paints mosaics now. He's painting mosaics for churches, which is really incredible, stunning work, really elaborate, like you see in the famous churches all over the world, especially in Europe. So he's an incredible artist. We have two of the White Heart. These are quite large, as you can see. Very nice prints. The Grim Reaper, I think there's three of these. One of his big artworks from Alpha, a unique, really powerful card. Especially so in sample card version or the pre-alpha versions. Very, very powerful effect if you want to go back and check out my sample pack coverage. And the very last copy of Beautiful Fey City from Arthurian Legends. You see this one, he actually signed upside down. It's kind of funny. He must have just had it inverted as he was signing these. So oftentimes people like to print to the border and not leave this white border. Sometimes they get a matte. Sometimes they just frame right to the edge of the actual illustration itself. The nice thing with that is he also signed the back here. So really the signature on the front doesn't matter as much, gives you some flexibility if you want to save the provenance of the back there. There you have it. All right, so without further ado, guys, we're going to go to the overhead cam for the exciting reveal of the first ever reveal, the full Alpha set from Vasiliy Ermolaev, artist proofs. So first things first, artist proofs have square corners, right? They come square corners. They're not rounded corners like you have in the official Alpha print. So that is the first difference. And of course, artist proofs have blank backs. They're used predominantly really by the company to test the print, the color saturation, the color values, The print quality, make sure there's sharp edges and, they're cut well, and, the surface is clean, those types of things. So they're blank backs, and then the artist oftentimes will sketch or paint on the back. So the first we're going to show is the Muck Lampreys. So really cool. Right away, we see that a lot of artists oftentimes will leave a white border, and that is helpful in giving provenance, or providing some aspect of provenance. So it's a artist proof and not just like a reback card. I mean, you could take a regular sorcery card. Of course, it would have rounded corners and not squares. So it's a little more difficult in sorcery, but you could take that and you could reback the back, or like an altar, resurface the back and repaint it. But he did this really cool effect where he created this border, and then you see his signature is in the bottom there. So that's our first, the Muck Lampreys, Vasiliy Ermolaev. Next, we have the Wild Boars. The Wild Boars were super interesting. They had a different casting cost in the sample cards, so they kind of evolved for the final alpha print. And we've seen more boars, pigs, squeakers, in fact, even from Vaseli in Arthurian Legends. But the boars were some of the first beasts in the game. And here you have it, the mounted boarhead. This one was really fun. When I showed the person that purchased this, he was very excited about this one. And you could see why. It's just, it's a fun card, man. It's great art, and it's just fun. All right, so there's the Wild Boars by Vasily. The iconic boss troll with the famous, both famous and infamous curio version, where Eric trolled us for the first time with these curios, right? So the boss troll on the back, where it says an Eric's Curiosa project, it says an Eric's Curio project on the back, right? So there you go. You got the boss troll in its artist proof version, in its regular alpha version, and in a curio variant. Here is the first reveal of the artist proof by Vasily. And there you have that little creeper wandering in the majestic woods. And I don't know if this is a corpse or what. You often don't know with Vasily. It almost looks like haunted woods. I mean, this is the beauty of art, guys. It's really up to the interpretation of the fan, of the art enthusiast. And here you see in the background, is this like a haunted forest with a corpse like woven into the earth? You don't know, but you got the boss troll, almost like a troll elk, just creeping through the woods. Man, this guy is something else. That is awesome. All right, Shifting Sands. Really interesting story on Shifting Sands. There was an alternative art version that was done by Kyle Calazans that was used in that was not used in the game. So Eric selected this one by Vasily to use in alpha, and there's also a curio variant of this that actually I think it's in beta from memory. So there's an issue on the pre-con decks where it had the wrong symbol. So they kind of corrected that, or I don't know. It's kind of like a silly homage when they did that other curio variant of it. But without further ado, the first sight from the Alice deck, Shifting Sands, gorgeous. So you have this night, almost like the sky is almost like oceanic in a way. Looks like a water element or slithering snakes. Again, use your imagination, but these vast, deserts, really cool. Again, his awesome signature in the border, Vasily. One of the greats. All right, so we're moving up to the exceptionals now. The exceptional Spire Lich. Every time I see this, I think Avatar, right? Doesn't that look like that could absolutely be an Avatar? But it's not. It's right out of the spell book, an exceptional undead towers above. So we expect many more undead, highly probable in Gothic. But here you have the Spire Lich. Another interesting, intriguing, intricate artwork, colorful as well. These really look good. I mean, you can't fully appreciate it on camera, but there's a lot of nuanced color here. You have green, this kind of like almost turquoise kind of blue. This is a lot more vivid. It's kind of a shame, on camera you can't fully appreciate the dynamics of the art, and with the lighting and stuff, it can kind of play an illusion. But these are really beautiful in person. And I hope the buyer of this will show up to a show, Sorcery Con or another event, and let us see these in person. They're really beautiful. I'm also taking pictures of every single one individually. So I'll share those on the Sorcery Community Facebook group, the Collector Arthouse Discord, all my forums. Please sign up in the notes or on my link tree. You can find all of my community building sites through that site. The Spiral Lich. All right. So Wills of the Wisp. Wills of the Wisp, right? It's kind of a throwback homage to Will of the Wisp from Magic the Gathering, a game, of course, Sorcery draws a lot of inspiration from. So exceptional spirits. And of course, we saw a lot of spirits and fairies, fae type art and characters in Arthurian legends. But this is Alpha, exceptional spirits of fascination and folly, Voidwalk. So the Will of the Wisp. There it is. Another interesting, I mean, who paints like that? It's so like the color dynamics. Again, the color vibes, you'll see it. Maybe if I come down a little lower off of the light a little bit, you can kind of get an appreciation for the color dynamics and just the depth of this piece. Really, really nice. All right. Sling Pixies. This is certainly a favorite. If I remember correctly, I believe this was in the pre-con decks for Alpha. So it introduced some of us to the game. I know it was definitely played with a lot in the print-to-play and the sample card era before Alpha went to final print. But the Sling Pixies, this was also one of the artworks that was included in the collector tier. And by some miracle, I mean, someone gave up that painting and it was repurchased. And there was a time where I had a chance at that one, and I regret it every day that I didn't grab that. Man, boy, do I regret it. I'd love to have a Vasili original. But this is the way to do it, guys. Artist proofs. Painted on the back. I'm going to have 2 coming to auction, actually. So stay tuned. You're going to have an opportunity to own a Vasili original artist proof. Only 2 will be available. These are all sold. So I'm not going to spoil the 2 today, but join the Sorcery Community Facebook group and the Collector Arthouse Discord, and you'll have a chance to own a Vasili. There'll be 2 Arthurian Legends artist proofs, and he's going to work on Alpha and send me those later on. But you got to be part of those groups to have a shot at these auctions. Exceptional fairies, flitter, hither, and tither. The Sling Pixies. Look at this guy. That fairy standing on, what is this, like a pitchfork type of thing? The devious little guy, right? Beautiful. With that rich purple background and this gorgeous tree, man. I don't know. I got to ask him where he gets the inspiration to paint like this. This is so different. Really, really cool. Love his work. All right. Another thing you're noticing is he didn't number these. Some of the artists numbered, some just signed. It's kind of interesting that they're just signed, not numbered. All right, the Bridge Troll. The Bridge Troll. We have another curio variant. Actually, there's the Toll Bridge. There was a different take from Marta Molina in beta, but in alpha, we had the Bridge Troll, and again, an Eric's Curio project on the back of the trolls. All right. So there you have the bridge and the shadowed figure of the troll. Look how awesome that is, man. So look at this creeping guy under the bridge and dreaming, right? And then creeping across the bridge, you see a shadowy figure. So incredibly painted on this. Man, it's just so amazingly well done. And this misty forest is just really, really creative and great. All right, Poisonous Dagger. This is a fun one, too. An exceptional weapon of virulent venom. Bearer has lethal. So this is a powerful card, a magic spell. You could put it on a little weenie minion and give it lethal, and it could really cause some havoc. The Poisonous Dagger. There it is. Is that a poisonous mushroom? Very interesting take on this one. And the greens on this again, guys. So it's a little vivid. Wait for the pictures when I share these on my socials. Sorcery Community Group is the place to be on Facebook. We're almost at 5,000 members as of this recording. So Vasiliy Ermolaev with the poisonous shroom coming out of this marsh or whatever this is. There it is, the Poisonous Dagger. Ooh, this is a fun one too. And if I remember correctly, this one, gorgeous artwork, right? Included in the collector tier. This was a $2,500 pledge tier in the Kickstarter. Super exciting, super fun. Man, I would have died to win this one. Of course, I wasn't one of the top backers, so I got one of Severin Pinew's iconic elemental avatars, the Avatar of Fire. And then after a couple of years, I made my dream come true of acquiring the Avatar of Air. Love her work. But I digress. These are the 2 Nice Nath gnomes, right? And this creeper in the back, right? So let's see his new take on this one. Oh, interesting. All right. So it's kind of like a shield figure, right? Webbed in these roots over a steaming cup of something or other, right? And these gems. But if you look at it, it almost appears as a face, right? With two eyes and kind of this hex pattern. This could almost be like a mouth. I don't know if that's by design or if it's just, again, one of those things that you create in your mind when you see art like this, right? But it looks like it's rooted under the earth. And it's like this historic relic buried under the roots of the earth. Just incredibly creative. And these guys are almost emerging under the roots of the earth. Exceptional gnomes, not nearly gabbed. Burrowing at the end of your turn, Nizek gnomes may burrow. So it's burrowed, right? So this shield, these relics are burrowed under the earth. Incredible. All right, just a few more to go, guys. It's really fun and exciting. Crossroads, a gorgeous artwork. Crossroads, it's our first elite. An elite site points in the right direction. Genesis, look at your next 4 sites. Put 3 on the bottom of your atlas. So gives you a look into your atlas site book or site deck, and you can see what your next draw is going to be and pop the others on the bottom, right? So here you go. Crossroads, point you in the right direction. And there's a nice new take on the Crossroads. Really cool. All right. Here's a fun one. Assorted Animals. I believe, if I remember correctly, we did not see this one before release. So it was a surprise artwork, surprise inclusion, and a really fun card. Search your spellbook for different beasts with a combined mana cost of X or less. Reveal them and put them in your hand. Shuffle your spellbook. So let's see his take on the Assorted Animals. So let's look. What kind of animals do we have here? We have a rat. We have a kitty cat, a snake. What is it, an elk? A dromedary, maybe. A goat? I'm not sure. And then these bats, right? So what are we going to see on the back? The bats. Look at that. Look at that scene, man. Under the whimsical, mysterious, ominous, white, almost truly opaque and flat and just pure white moon. The bats. And they look like they're awake. You know, they're supposed to be nocturnal. So maybe it's at dawn or something. Really cool. Amazing piece. All right, guys. This is an iconic one. I saved the Grim Reaper for last. We're working our way up in rarity. The Donnybrook Inn is a just amazing artwork. And again, I'm pretty sure this one was in collector tier as well. It just blows my mind that someone out there owns it. In fact, if you own this, please contact me. If you own this original painting, I need this. I need this. I need this for my well-being. I need this. I'm going to look you in the eyes. I need this, please. Please. We can work something out, I'm sure. There must be something that I have that you must have. I must have this, please. All right, so the Donnybrook Inn, a unique site for anyone and everyone. I love that. The type line text was wonderful in alpha, really great. All right, so here is your Donnybrook Inn. Interesting. So new, like tighter lines, whole new take on the inn, right? A cleaner version, maybe a more modern and newer version. A lot of interesting line work because it's really much different than Vasily's typical style. Maybe it's this part of the town, right? Although you do have that element of that side. So maybe this was like the initial early days in the build of the Donnybrook Inn and a look inside the city or the little town. Very nice. All right. And finally, the last from Vasily, the last of the first ever Grim Reaper original painted alpha artist proof. Only 29 copies in the world. To date, only 1 painted in the world. This is the Grim Reaper. A unique spirit awaits us all. Lethal. Whenever Grim Reaper kills a minion, banish that minion in all copies. Search its owner's cemetery, hand, and spellbook, and banish any copies they shuffle. The incredible, iconic Grim Reaper. And I've seen this painting in person as well. This was also in the collector tier, and a local guy owns this. So you know I'm coming for you, buddy. You know I'm coming. I need this one. I need it. But I need the Donnybrook Inn too, especially the Donnybrook. I'd probably go for the Donnybrook first, to be honest. The Grim Reaper. There he is. The Grim Reaper, man. A zoom in. All right, so here we have the more abstract, a little darker Grim Reaper, right? Creeping through this just aghast, emaciated wasteland of a town, the post-apocalyptic town. And there is the epic Grim Reaper by Vasiliy Ermolaev. Man, this is blending with his surroundings, right? That's kind of the common theme here. See, it kind of matches the branch, the weathered branch here there, and the kind of setting. Man, what a brilliant artist, Vasiliy Ermolaev. The first 14 artist proofs from Vasily, really incredible. And I took pictures of them as a set. I took pictures of them individually. But there you have it, guys, from Vasily. Let me know, please, in the comments what your favorite is from Vasily. What is your favorite alpha proof from the great Vasily? Let me know what you think of his work, what you think of his work in alpha and Arthurian Legends, what your favorite card is, and what your favorite artist proof is. The artist proofs, the art in general of Sorcery Contested Realm, and the many amazing altarists that are emerging are really incredible and really put this project on another level. What a collection. One person bought this entire set of Vasily artist proofs. Thank you guys for your interest. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Please join the Collector Arthouse Patreon. And, join the socials, the Sorcery Community Facebook group, the Collector Arthouse Discord. Appreciate you all. Until next time, take care. Bye.